Hi, everybody. This is Kathy Madsen, and I'm here with Alyssa Zantello today to talk about her experience using Calmer Canine. Alyssa, tell us a little bit about yourself and your dog.
So my name's Alyssa. I'm a physician assistant. I work in orthopedics currently, and I live in Livonia, Michigan. My dog is a 1 year old, adorable black Labradoodle named Lua.
So, how did you first hear about Calmer Canine?
Heard about it through the vet behaviorist I'd been working with for Lua's separation anxiety.
Yeah. And what was your first thought and feeling when your vet behaviorist brought it up?
I think she actually brought it up at our first visit, and I thought it sounded like something a little bit odd, so I dismissed it for medications at first. And then when I was really struggling with her anxiety, and she mentioned that it had shown some good promise, I jumped all over the opportunity to get my hands on one.
Fantastic. So, what really motivated you to try it? Was it because you weren't seeing the results you were expecting with the other treatment?
Yeah, both that and the initial promising results through the pilot study that Calmer Canine released.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about the before for Lua and what it was like before you started using Calmer Canine.
So I started noticing some anxiety almost from day one, bringing her home as an 8-week-old puppy and tried to work through it for the first few months. It was a lot of panting, howling, pacing, just distressed looking behavior. I had a camera at home that I could monitor with her with um, inappropriate urination and defecation, destruction, just general unsettled for sometimes upwards of an hour at a time and multiple times throughout the day if I was gone at work. Um, she might sleep for a little while, but she still looked always on guard, and really broke my heart just to see her so upset every time I would leave.
Right. And what kinds of treatments or protocols had you tried previously for that behavior?
Okay, this list gets a little extensive and I'll probably forget quite a few of the things. I mean, I tried everything from exercise before I'd leave, exercise during the day, calming treats of various varieties, thunder shirt, music on, adaptil, pheromone collar, doggy daycare, Prozac, trazodone, CBD oil. Uh, the list could probably go on. I mean, I tried anything I could think of, anything that anybody else had success with. Oh, treats, chew toys, stuffed Kongs, you name it, I probably tried it.
Right. And were you working with a dog trainer specifically to address the anxiety, or did you work with your vet or both?
I started with a dog trainer who said, hey, you should probably get some professional help with a vet behaviorist, and then um, started working with a vet behaviorist, I think when she was about 6 months old. But prior to that, I'd been just kind of trying to work through it on my own, you know, Facebook forums, online research on separation anxiety, which
Yeah.
isn't always the greatest, I suppose.
Well, but it's there's so much information out there about it too.
Yeah,
It's kind of hard sometimes to tell like what should I try, what shouldn't I
right.
try, all of that. What were the most worrisome symptoms and behaviors for you?
Her desire to escape. She had been chewing at doors and windowsills because I couldn't crate her. She was hurting herself in her crate. So that was probably the most worrisome, is that she was going to hurt herself or escape, and then potentially something bad could happen with that. So
Definitely. Yeah. And how did that impact your day-to-day life? Did you have to change your work schedule, or I mean, you mentioned doggy daycare, so you had to invest in doggy daycare. Did that have any benefits for her
yeah,
or help you out at all with your schedule?
it was hard with day to day. Just it was distressing to me knowing that she was distressed, and I didn't have a ton of flexibility work schedule wise. But I would bring in a dog walker, which of course is an added expense. And doggy daycare is, I love it. It helped her when she was there, but um, it was, nothing was really working all that well.
Sure. Yeah. So after your vet behaviorist brought up Calmer Canine to you, what was your first impression when you got the box and you opened it up? Did you find it was easy to use and easy to start treatment with?
It was very easy to use. It's pretty self explanatory. Just take it out of the box, put it on, and push the button and go. So
Fantastic. And did you use the vest that holds it in place, or did you do more of the handheld treatment?
I use the vest that held it in place. She doesn't love to be cuddled for 15 minutes at a time.
Sure. My dog's the same,
Yep.
very picky. And how did she act during her treatments?
She actually would just lay really still and kind of be a little more snuggly than typical. Just kind of laid there till it was finished.
Nice. And did you happen to use the anxiety progress tracker or the treatment log that Calmer Canine has?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I used it at I think 4 weeks, 6 weeks, and 8 weeks because I ended up using it for 8 weeks total.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the recommended beginning treatment's 4 to 6 weeks.
Mhm.
How long was it until you saw any improvement?
It wasn't until 8 weeks.
Until that 8 weeks?
Yeah.
Fantastic. And did you talk to customer service at Calmer Canine about what do I do? It's been 6 weeks or 4 weeks. And how was that experience?
I mentioned it to the vet behaviorist first, and she said it should be fine, but contact Calmer Canine anyways. And they said, yeah, go ahead. It's not a problem to keep using it longer than 6 weeks. So it
Yeah.
was pretty easy to get in touch with them. Just use the email address on the website and heard back pretty quickly. So.
So, what kind of improvement, when you started seeing that improvement, what kind of improvement did you see? And in particular, in the symptoms that you were most worried about, that escape behavior that she was doing?
So the panic behavior lasted a lot less time in duration. Instead of being like upwards of an hour, it was more like 5 to 10 minutes at first. And she was doing less like jumping at the windows and doors and less biting at them. It was more just pacing and panting instead of the truly 100% panic behavior. And then it was within a day or two, just kind of, I looked on the camera and she was laying quietly on the ground and I said, well, is this my dog or did someone swap her after I left?
That's fantastic to hear, though. So, a lot more settled.
Mhm.
Fantastic. So, what's life like now for you and Lua after your Calmer Canine treatment?
I worry less while I'm at work. She's happier while I'm gone. I still have to keep up a lot on exercise and her medications because she is a young puppy and she has a ton of energy. But so I worry less at work. She's happier at home. I caught her playing at one point on the camera, and then also I don't have to come home to a gigantic mess every day, which is an added bonus. So.
Always a plus for that. Do you feel that her quality life is higher? Your quality of life is better?
Oh, for both of us, absolutely. I can see her playful side, and she's spunky and has her puppy energy back, which is fun because she's adorable and I like playing with her. So it's prior, I would come home and she would be so exhausted from panicking all day that she would just want to sleep at night when I was home. And now she wants to play. She'll play fetch. We'll go to the park, and she's got more energy and is just generally a happier pup. So.
Right. So, what would you say when you were recommending this product to other pet owners about your experience and what you think about it?
I think it's definitely something to consider, especially if your simple methods of trying to treat separation anxiety haven't been effective. The investment I didn't think was too steep of a price for, especially seeing the outcome that I got. I think it was totally worth it. So give it a try.
Fantastic. That's great.
Mhm.
And have you been in contact with the trainer that you were working with previously about it at all, or anything like that, or just your vet behaviorist now?
Just the vet behaviorist. If I get a chance to talk to the trainer again, I will certainly let her know because I think she would appreciate knowing about it too. But I contacted the vet right away and said, "Hey, this really made a big difference for me." So, because she
That's
was
so good.
curious on the results too. So.
Is there anything else you'd like to share about your experience with Calmer Canine or about the product?
It really has been kind of a lifesaver for us. I was getting really frustrated and fatigued and worn out with seeing her so upset all the time, and it was very wearing prior. So to have that breath of fresh air with, hey, things may not be perfect 100% of the time, and she still has some anxious symptoms here and there. They're manageable, and I feel like we both have a handle on it. And it's really been a breath of fresh air to have new life in dog ownership.
A lot less stressful, right? I mean, it's
Absolutely.
so hard on the humans
Yeah.
with dogs who are anxious because we don't want them to feel that way.
No, exactly. And she's my first pet that I've truly owned as an adult. So this has been quite the roller coaster as a first time dog owner.
Yeah, I bet. It's like, hey, here's a dog, and you get all the fun stuff with it.
Yeah. But she's so sweet though, so I can't imagine life without her at this point.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining me today, Alyssa. It was great to hear about your experience with Calmer Canine.
Thanks, it's been my pleasure.